Now, the first thing, before we even dive into the video modules and everything and all the information, is I need you to understand that how you delegate your time and what you focus on is going to determine 99% of the result. And at 19 years old, I've been able to make $150,000 a month because I understand where to put my time and how to actually manage my workflow so that I get the most out of what I put in. Okay, I'm always going to preach this point. How do you work less while making more? Okay, that's what I'm going to go through in this video, and I'm going to walk you through the exact workflow that I have that has worked for me, that has allowed me to make $150,000 a month at 19 while balancing university, while having a good social life, and while actually being happy and actually living life and not being glued to my computer all day. It's one thing to just work 12 hours a day and make 150K a month, but I didn't do that. I worked around 5 to 7, and I actually had a fun time scaling up. I experienced life, I went on holidays, and I was able to make this money while doing the things I enjoy. And in this video, I'm going to break down how you can do the same. So I'm going to go through 6 of the most important points, and then I'm going to also talk about my workflow and then tools I use to maximize my workflow. Okay? The first thing is scheduling your day. Guys, I can't emphasize how important it is for you to schedule your day and know what you need to get done. Okay? You need to do this the night before and block out time for each activity. All right? So I've kind of just integrated it in my head, but if you're not, but because I've been doing it for so long. But what I recommend you guys do is use Google Calendar, right? Use Google Calendar. I've blocked out the last basically 7 hours to just film modules and just get shit done. I know exactly what I'm going to do and everything. And so this is what I'm going to do. Now, again, it's not as packed as it should be, right? Because I understand how to block out time in my own head. But if you're not used to blocking out time and you don't know what works for you, what I'd recommend you do is I'd recommend that you actually block out time. And so let's say I want to work on content first thing in the morning. I'd do this, right? And then maybe I'd have lunch here. And then let's say I go to the gym. Now, again, it's all up to you guys. But me personally, this has worked extremely well because it's kept me on task. And it actually puts accountability onto me so that I have to get shit done. And then this one could be maybe calling the family. And then these are all calls and shit. And then let's say over here, I'm going to just work on, let's say here is going to be dinner. And then here, I'm just going to work on A plus problem, which is, maybe it's putting out, creating fulfillment systems or something, right? But if you create time for something, you're going to actually do it. And so part of what, I'm going to preach in this program, and you'll see it, is like, what is the one problem that you can solve that'll lead to 80% of the growth in your business? For some of you that struggle with leads, that is content and ads. For some of you that struggle with conversion, that is middle of funnel and the VSL. Or for some of you that struggle with book calls, that could be appointment setting, right? So you understand what your problem is and you clear out time in your day to actually solve that problem. That's going to make the biggest change, all right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is creating a to-do list. You need pure clarity on what you need to do in order of importance, okay? If you're working on the right things every single day, you're going to push the needle forward and you're going to work smarter so you can make more. Now, I'm going to show you my to-do list in a bit, but what I want you guys to do is separate your to-do list into 3 different areas: sales, marketing, fulfillment, and also health. So this is what my to-do list looks like. I have health, I have marketing, I have fulfillment, I have sales. I know exactly what I'm going to do for health. I've already hit the gym, I've already meditated and all that stuff, and I put it in priority. And then marketing, here's the action items I'm going to work on in order to market my product better, in order to generate more leads and get people interested in my stuff. Now, you may be wondering, how the fuck is pay rent part of marketing? I'm planning to film a segment where I'm actually paying the rent and talking about why I'm choosing to pay rent, even though I could let my parents pay rent. That's going to be part of my marketing, and that's something that I want to film as well, right? Buy that laptop, it's going to be a wholesome moment, all that stuff, you get the idea. These are things that I'm going to do to get more leads. Fulfillment, what am I going to do to actually get better client fulfillment or get better client results? Usually it's just replying to clients, all that stuff, checking with CSM. And as you can see, red means it's top priorities, orange means it's second priority, and then blue means it's last priority. And I do it in order of priority. And so whatever my A plus problem is, whether it's leads, okay, let's solve the top priority first, let's go through everything, and then we move on to the next. The B plus problem, which is maybe fulfillment. And then I solve everything, and then maybe the C plus problem is sales, and then I do everything here. The point is, you want to separate it into 4 different categories, and you need to understand what is the main bottleneck that's holding back your business, and how can I create action items to solve that bottleneck specifically and prioritize it in a way where if I solve this number one problem, number one problem over here, that's going to lead to all of my success. All right? So you guys kind of get the idea. Let me go back to my arc. The third thing is just eating good food. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, guys, actually do the to-do list before you wake up. So one thing I do is when I wrap up every single day, I obviously fill out my KPIs, but then I also set up my to-do list on what I want to work for the next day. So when I wake up and I finish my meditation session, immediately I can look at my to-do list, understand what is my A+ problem, and just work on it straight away. I don't spend time having to think about what I want to work on today because I already set it up the night before. So create the to-do list the night before. Third thing is eat good food. Guys, eat whole foods, red meat, eggs, that will literally 2x your productivity. Don't eat fucking carbs, don't eat breads, and eat food that will help you think clearly, focus for longer, and be more productive. Don't avoid pasta in the afternoon. Avoid foods that give you brain fog, and search up foods for brain, like for thinking and everything. There's actually so much science that goes behind this. When I eat bread and when I eat carbs and when I eat pasta and shit, I get a carb crash. I can't think clearly. Everyone is different, so figure out what works for you, but that's just what works for me, okay? Fourth thing is go to the gym. Don't be a bum and sit on your computer all day and work 12 hours a day. No, make time to go to the gym, do cardio, lift weights, and do this at least once a day. Get sweat in. Do not fucking stick by your computer and just, be a fucking computer merchant. No, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a business where our business serves us and we are living the life that we want to live, right? And so make sure you go to the gym no matter how fucking busy you are. I don't care if you have a whole work day, 12-hour work day, find time to go to the gym. If you can't go to the gym, then hit a 15-minute HIIT workout. I don't give a shit. Just sweat, okay? That's going to lead to a huge, huge business. Fifth one is deep work session and Pomodoro timer. Deep work sessions are my cheat code because they remove all my distractions. And what I do is I put my phone on D&D and I only keep essential notifications. And what I do is I work for 45 minutes with no distractions and then rest for 15 minutes. And I repeat this 3 times. And in 3 hours, I get more done than 99% of people get done in a day because there's no distractions. I don't do anything else but the task I'm focusing on. And so as you guys know, I'm filming modules right now. I'm not going to touch my phone or anything else for the next 2-3 hours until I knock out all these modules. I'm going to get shit done that people will take days to get done because I understand deep work and I understand the power of just remaining focused at one specific thing and having no other distractions. Huge, all right? 6 is deep sleep. Track your sleep schedule. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Guys, I used to make the biggest mistake of literally just staying up and thinking that I was working harder and all that shit. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I want you to work smart. I want you guys to sleep well, sleep at the same time every night, and wake up at the same time every morning, and be in a routine. Guys, if you don't have enough sleep, then no matter what productivity hack you use, it will not work. I highly recommend investing in your sleep, and so maybe getting something like a Whoop where you can track your sleep, figure out what time you need to go to bed, figure out how much hours you need to sleep because everyone's different, and just obsessing over that because if you obsess over it, everything else is going to come easier. Okay? These are my 6 tips. Now for my daily workflow, this is what it usually looks like. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I do this every day. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, but this is my ideal daily workflow. 8:30 a.m. I wake up and then I meditate for 10 minutes. And then after I meditate for 10 minutes, I do deep work for 2 hours on my A+ problem. Now, 99% of the time, my A+ problem is always going to be content. And so I'm solving content, I'm creating YouTube videos, I'm creating IG videos, I'm doing research and all that stuff, right? And then for 2 hours, once I finish my deep work session, I'm going to handle farts for 15 minutes, reply to clients, make sure all my clients are happy. And then another 15 minutes goes by and then I'm going to have breakfast. And then once I have a bit of food in my system, I'm going to hit the gym and do some basketball or get the sweat going. I do this around midday because I feel most energized. I'll feel more energized after I hit a workout and whatever. All right. Now, I'm not saying you have to follow it step by step, but this is just what works for me. The most important thing is what works for you. If you can feel energized the whole day and work out at night, by all means, do it. But for me, I just feel better when I work out midday and then I have like a second energy boost in the afternoon, if that makes sense. And then I come back, I order Uber Eats or I cook a steak. I do what's fast and I do what feeds my brain and what helps me just focus. And then I do another 1 hour deep work session on solving the A+ problem again. And then this is where I take calls. I recommend you take calls in the afternoon because the morning is when your brain enters flow state the easiest, if that makes sense. if you take calls, the first thing you do in the morning is you take calls, you're ruining the opportunity to just get in a flow state. Because from the time you wake up, like that 15-minute window from the time you wake up is the easiest time to actually get in a flow state. So if you're saving that time for deep work, then you're gonna get a lot more done. Um, and then I take calls back to back, and then here's just extra work, whatever I need to work on, and then 7 plus, I kind of wrap up my day and just chill and play some games, do what I do need to do, and just kind of wind down, and then I repeat it all again. All right, it's that simple. Now I'm not saying you have to follow this workflow. This is just work for me. If you're wondering where uni comes into this, I outsource 90% of my uni work. Okay, and then when exams come and shit, then that's when I study. But that's what it is, okay? And then tools I use to make sure that everything's aligned and I save time. Todoist, this is the app that I use. Fucking goated, super simple, free. You don't need to pay shit. Loom is a great one. This is what I'm filming on. Just search up Loom. You can film things for other people to get done. So when you delegate shit, you don't have to hop on a call all the time. Loom is great. You guys already know Zoom. Fathom is a note taker that I use to, if I want to recap a call, I don't have to actually watch it back. I can just look at the Fathom note taker and summarize it for me. This is my daily workflow, guys. Implement it. Take what you want. Try it in your own life, and let me know how it goes.